This man was told if he didn't take the picture of Jesus off of his surfboard, he would be disqualified from the Olympics. The 2012 Olympics opening ceremony also had a lot of symbolism, just like we saw this year. This is super creepy, and it was done by the National Health Service.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight I got another set of videos that will blow your mind. So if you guys are ready, let's check these out.
This man was told if he didn't take the picture of Jesus off of his surfboard, he would be disqualified from the Olympics. And shout out to this girl because she refused to be silenced, and I'll get to that in a second. This is João Chianca. He is a Brazilian surfer, and 2 weeks before he competed in the Olympics, they said that he needs to take Jesus Christ off of his surfboard or else he would be disqualified because of their rules. João said it's because they have strict rules and they focus on total neutrality. Hold on a minute. If they have strict rules in the game, shouldn't they have strict rules in the opening ceremony where it looked like they recreated the Last Supper? Surely they rehearsed this many times and they know what's going on. Anyway, we need to give the spotlight to this young woman, Raisa Leal. She is a 16-year-old Brazilian skateboarder, and when she claimed her medal in sign language, she said, "Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life." She refused to be silenced.
He doesn't seem to realize that they usually only go after Christianity, so the only one being banned here is Christians. The only ones they mock are Christians. You don't see them doing that to other religions. It's almost as if they know something.
The 2012 Olympics opening ceremony also had a lot of symbolism, just like we saw this year. This is super creepy, and it was done by the National Health Service. So this performance starts with hundreds of hospital beds all over the stage, and they have nurses reading them bedtime stories before they go to bed. After they're done reading the bedtime story, they eventually tuck these kids into bed. All the nurses and doctors then do this little dance, and then they cut to a scene where a girl is reading a book under her covers. When the lights go down, that's when the demons come out, and that's what happens in this performance. The demons start coming out and they multiply, and they keep cutting to her and to all the nurses. They also start bringing out a lot of other creepy things. That same girl who is reading the book then gets lured up by this massive demon that just spawns out of nowhere. Say what you want, I don't care what children's book or children movies this is from, this is flat out creepy. Demons then make their way to the children's beds, scaring them and making them run away. And then the nurses become like possessed. They all start doing this weird robotic motion of dancing. The stage was made up of newspaper headlines, and there were subliminal messages all over the flooring. It's hard to read them, but you can go watch the original video and look at them yourself.
Now explain to me how that show has anything to do with the Olympics. And you guys know that there's going to be a bunch of idiots out there claiming that that's not satanic because they pull stuff out of their butts and they just come up with some dumbass excuse as to why that's not satanic. You saw the freaking demons. You saw the huge demon. You saw the kids in a ward, because that's what it looks like. Those beds look like they're in a ward. Then when the big demon came out, there was a huge cage, and then on the side of the cage, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's like nets, like to catch them. Then all the other subliminal messages, like on the newspaper cuttings, this is the way the world ends. Why? Like, what does that even have to do with it? Like, I don't even know, man. It's just crazy. And I looked at the comments, and there were people saying that it's just what was it they called it? It's Greek. Yeah, that is Greek mythology and Celtic mythology. I saw in the comments people were claiming. Like, I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
I want to go more into the moon landing, actually. You called the moon landing the Easter Bunny for adults.
A lot of people, like, we just have good, like, you have your instincts. I always say, like, your gut is divine. Like that, somebody tells you something and you just go, doesn't really make sense, right? I don't really know. But then suddenly psychology, what they realize that if you just keep saying to someone something, it becomes true. And again, the bigger of a lie, people will believe it. And so what we have is what Scott Adams refers to as the non-expert problem. So your gut tells you, like, sounds pretty crazy that we went to the moon all these times for a couple of years and then we just didn't go back forever and we were just like done. Like, that sounds weird. And where's the technology? And they didn't even have cell phones. And like, you're telling me this, they live streamed this and there was a phone call. I don't know, like, it just seems like a little weird for like 1969. But you're like, well, I don't really understand kind of outer space. So I'm not going to debate this, but my gut tells me this is all BS. So then I decided to read this document. It was 119 pages. And I know there's a book too, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And he just broke down the science in a way that was very digestible. So I didn't have a non-expert problem. And so there's a basic thing that you guys can do. If you're like somebody who's like, it had to have happened, the moon landing, what you can do is look up
No.
Van Allen belt. Okay, so there's a Van Allen belt. So we have never gone beyond that belt, right? There's been no human that's gone beyond that belt since the moon landings, allegedly. And not even Elon Musk, when they go out to space, they have to stay, like there is a space station, but like once you get 200 miles out, you hit the Van Allen belt, which has an incredible amount of radiation. NASA has said, like, in order for us to get through it, we'd have to have cement blocks around someone. So I want you to just Google, if you're watching this, the temperature of the Van Allen belt, okay? Just Google that. And you're gonna get something like, at the lowest points in the Van Allen belt, it's, I think, 3,000 Kelvin. And at the highest points, it's like 30,000 Kelvin. And then I want you to Google what material the shuttle was made out of. And then I want you to Google at what temperature
That would burn.
that would just burn. And you're just going to laugh out loud. You go, this literally doesn't make sense that an aluminum alloy could have gone through the Van Allen belt for an hour and a half or 59 minutes. It just couldn't have happened. It literally can't happen. There's no explanation for it. They just don't even talk about it. They don't like talking about the Van Allen belt because that part makes entirely no sense. And then he went through and he spoke about like the camera. So they allegedly took camera. I want you to Google the temperature of the moon. Okay, they had their big bulky gloves on. They took these cameras and just go, hey, what camera is that from 1969 that was able to survive temperatures of like 250 degrees of Fahrenheit to like negative 250 degrees Fahrenheit, just like on the moon while they were just like jumping around. And you're gonna go, where is this camera? Then Google's gonna tell you, oh, actually, they only made 8 of those cameras, and they decided to give them, you're gonna love this, to a guy who makes movies. I'm blanking on the name of this guy who just a couple of years before the moon landing, he's a famous director. He made a movie about outer space. What's it? Stanley Kubrick. So he was friends with Jack Parsons, who established the Apollo program for NASA. So those two were friends. They were out in LA and they literally worshiped Satan. They were both Aleister Crowley recipients. So they were considered, the religion was called Thelema. And his protege was Jack Parsons. He was the creator of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which became the Apollo program. So Jack Parsons was a committed Satanist, and they would have sex rituals. And it was him and the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, yeah.
Yes, the founder of Scientology. They were out here in Pasadena, and both of them were, every time that they would light a fuse to see if the rocket would go, they would say satanic chants. Here's what's so crazy. Any of this sounds nuts, don't go find it on Reddit. You don't have to go on a deep rabbit hole. It's on Wikipedia. Look up Jack Parsons on Wikipedia. All of this information is right there. They were literal Satanists. And then they established, after this, the Apollo program.
That's one of the reasons why they hate Candace Owens, because she be letting you know how it is. What else can I say? She said it all. Like, it's true. If you look up the temperature at which aluminium, if you're in other countries, burns, there's no way that they could have passed through the Van Allen belt, because it would have melted. Forget about burning. It would have completely melted. Everything would have disintegrated on the way there in minutes, let alone an hour, hour and a half. Just more and more holes coming up. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think.
Check this one out, y'all. This was recorded on a trail camera in Canada. As you can see, the Sasquatch there is looking around, and he's about to grab a few limbs and actually move them around and demonstrate great strength. Check it out. Look at that. This is 100% real, you guys. A legit Sasquatch. Look how he just throws those branches around like it's nothing. Look at that. Holy. Just amazing.
Pretty big.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
I don't know. That doesn't look like somebody in a suit, because the size is pretty large. And then to have enough force to just fling one of those logs that distance and then grab the other one and just lift it that high and just slam it. That looks pretty legit. I couldn't make up his face. I'm gonna see if I could enlarge it when I'm editing the video. but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. But that face didn't look like an ape to me. If you look closely, from what I could tell, it looked like a humanoid face with a lot of facial hair. Like he had a large beard is what it looked like to me. So I don't know. I'm going to try to enlarge it and see if I can. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of this one.
Have you all seen what I just saw? They're reporting that 80,000 people at a Travis Scott concert caused an earthquake. That's not what I think it is. I can't show you an example on this platform, but I can tell you that is a warlock. That was a giant chant, and they were literally casting spells, and when everyone went together, they all matched their aura at the same exact time. This is the same kind of crap we see at the Grove. Almost identical. Y'all, it's a ritual. It's a satanic ritual. And people that try to deny that he's a warlock, I don't even have time for y'all no more. When the end arrives, it's really the beginning. The true dystopia is here. Know what lies beneath the surface? Did you forget his hell invite? It's literally a painting from the 1500s called Christ in Limbo. Like in the same concert when he created that portal. That earthquake was literally God because he's angry, or because of the magic these people were doing. These guys aren't even coherent right now. It's a trance, a mass trance.
What he felt to notice, or what he felt to say, if he did notice, is the lighting when they're chanting and the light beams are coming together. There's 5 lights. The lighting is forming a pentagram as they're chanting the song or the spell, if you believe that that's what they're doing. I don't know. Like why people still going to Travis Scott's concerts? Did they not learn from the last time that he was on stage?
And how are we supposed to know the good guys from the bad guys? Well, we were given a standard by which to judge them. You know, by their fruits, you'll know them. By their fruits. Anybody seen any good fruit lately? No. It's tough. And look, I'm a pretty sinful guy. I mean, I'm as venal as the next guy. But I know the difference between a shepherd and a hireling. And I think that the vast majority of these bishops are just a bunch of hirelings. You know. And my question is, you know, like, who's hiring them? I don't think it's Jesus. Is it Francis? Who's hiring Francis? Is it Pachamama? I mean, I think you need to look at the whole institution. And, you know, I'll quote Archbishop Vigano again in saying that he believes that there was a parallel counterfeit church set up to eclipse the real one. He's suggesting usurpation or an inside job. It seems that way. Anyway.
I don't know. It's Mel Gibson. I don't know if we should be... I don't know. It's Mel Gibson, so should we really be listening to him? To what he's saying? Do you believe that what he's saying is true? Let me know in the comments below. And why would he be saying that? Did something happen with Pope Francis that I don't know about? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments below.
Lucifer and his angels wanted to be worshipped as gods, so they were casted out of heaven and were sent to earth. When they came here, however, they lived out their plan as being worshipped as gods amongst humans. The fallen angels seemed to change up their identity to deceive every generation. Let's take a look at some of the earliest signs of these fallen angels being worshipped. Ancient Egypt is one of the most impacted cultures regarding idolatry. We can see the worship of over 2,000 gods in the Egyptian pantheon. But is this just the worship of idol statues? Or were the ancient Egyptians actually seeing these fallen angels? Well, to answer that, the truth is in the mystery of Egypt itself. The mysterious and incomprehensible construction of the pyramids of Giza, the practice of magic by the ancient Egyptians, and the riches and arrogance of the Egyptian pharaohs reflecting the same beliefs the fallen angels have. The Bible even tells us about how evil the Pharaoh was in Exodus, when the pharaohs enslaved and oppressed the Israelites. Pharaoh was described as having a hardened heart. Now let's speak about the pyramids of Giza. The pyramids of Giza are perfectly aligned with the 3 stars in the constellation of Orion. This precision did not just occur by accident. There was definitely an intelligent mind behind this creation, far more complex than human beings of the time. And we are told who helped the ancient Egyptians simply by looking at the Egyptian hieroglyphs.
That's a good theory for the origin of all these Egyptian gods, if you think about it, because all the fallen angels that were cast down to earth, not all of them were incarcerated, and for all the other ones that are still free and roaming, like they had nothing better to do, and they wanted to be worshipped as gods, then that was their best chance. So they probably impersonated being gods, and then they were worshipped by the Egyptians and a whole bunch of other civilizations, and they made themselves seem as different gods. They took on different names, and throughout all that time they were just being worshipped by these people. I just think that's a good theory right there. So let me know down in the comments if you guys think the same way. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share, and leave your comments down below. Peace.